And we are live. Welcome, everybody. I'm Ben Humble. So excited to share this day with you guys. Many of you know I've been a real estate investor in Canada for the last 15 years. I've done over 300 deals. I am the founder of CashFlow Tribe, which is an amazing online real estate community here in Canada. And we have a mastermind group called The Council. Council is a Canadian real estate investment group, or actually a business development program for real estate investors. And today I'm pretty excited. I'm going to introduce you to some of our, what we call champions. Why are they champions? Well, a couple reasons. The following people have achieved amazing results in a time that's been rather difficult for many. We've had a difficult year with the pandemic and a lot of different things, and these people have persevered. So I'm really excited to highlight their journey, their struggle, and their success. They've also built awesome businesses, many of which have been able to quit their 9-to-5 job within months or the first year of building a real estate business, which I just think is incredible. People like Sean and Callie and Alex. And, aside from the money and the financial benefit, the personal development, we believe success is a holistic experience, mind, body, spirit, and finances. And I'm so encouraged when I see people develop their mindset, develop their level of thinking, build financial wealth for their family, and be able to support their community. So today, we want to give you some hope. Today, we want to give you some clarity. Today, we want to share some of these amazing stories with you, with these Canadians from all walks of life, from retired teachers to engineers that have changed occupation, to we have some newer folks who are basically getting in to real estate investing before they jump into college in other areas. So you're going to hear a gamut of different types of people. And I'm so excited to share it with you. So my hope is that these stories inspire you to take action so that you can achieve your dreams. We are here to bust limiting beliefs. We are here to talk about the hard subjects. We're not here to impress you, but to impress upon you the importance of taking control of your life, the importance of owning what you do every single day. And I'm so excited. So let's get started. Throughout the day, feel free to drop some hashtags, hashtag CashFlow Tribe. Our mastermind is The Council. Feel free to check that out and dive into some of these stories. If you can do me a favor, go ahead and share this stream right now so your friends and family can participate. I would personally appreciate it. I see we got some familiar faces. Jared, what's up, man? Roberto, what's going on? Arthur, good to see you. John is here. Lori is here. Tanya's here. So many amazing friends are joining us on today's live stream as we jump into the story. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into it and talk about our amazing folks. So let's kick it off. Our very first council champion today is our good friend, Alex Solga. And Alex has had an incredible journey. Here's a little bit of his bio, the things that he's accomplished in his short time working with us. Alex, to me, is the epitome of somebody who grabbed life by the horns. He tried many businesses before real estate. He did a lot of different things. And when he jumped in, he fully committed. And this is, he's raised some capital. He now runs the Clydesdale Capital group with his partner, Mark Smith. And, they're doing amazing things in the multifamily space, in the wholesaling space, and the business development space. So without further ado, welcome my good friend, Alex Solga, to the stream.
Hey, man. It's
hey,
awesome
man.
to be here.
Good to have you, brother. Good to have you. I know you're out and about probably getting a deal done right now. Tell us what's going on with you today, Alex. What do you got on the go?
I'm actually at a golf course starting a tournament shortly.
Amazing, man. I know you do business from the golf course as well, so I'm pretty sure you're going to raise some capital or do some deals. We have a very interesting approach to real estate investing. Alex, I want to dive right in here with you, my friend. I would love for you to just share with people, where were you? What was your life before the council, before real estate investing? Tell us a little bit about your journey.
So before real estate investing, I started buying real estate in 2013. Before that, I grew up on a tobacco farm, learned how to work hard, got the taste of what it's like to kind of be your own boss and live life on your terms. And I really enjoyed that. And so through all my teenage years and into my 20s, I tried to figure out what that can look like for me. And so I ended up getting in real estate just as something to do while I tried to figure out which business to start. not realizing real estate could be that business. And so, I went to college in London and I took engineering, hated it, went to college out west in Saskatchewan, lived there for 4 years, got a business degree, thought I was going to go work at a bank, and ended up doing something totally different, right?
Alex, I want you to get a little bit deep with us, man, because I think it's important people really understand the circumstance you were in when you made the decision to actually do this full time. That commitment was definitely not easy for you. And now, if you don't mind, just get real with us. What were those couple of months leading to your decision, and what ultimately helped you decide to take this to the next level?
Well, it wasn't a couple of months. It was 7 really rough years of real estate investing. So I bought a student rental in 2013, first property. I knew nothing. How I tend to learn is to just jump in and figure it out. And I guess I need a lot of pain to learn sometimes. So I bought my student rental. Tenants knew I was a new landlord, bullied the heck out of me. I ended up making major mistakes that cost me a ton of money, let them out of their leases, things like that. And then that was 2013. I bought that student rental with no money. Like, I never had any money. And so just borrowing off my line of credit card, that sort of thing. And then I bought a duplex in 2015, more tenant challenges, had a pretty crappy property manager in place, and more bad experiences. But I kept pushing because I knew there's successful people in real estate. Around that time, I learned about Matt McKeever, and he started investing around the time I did. And he was going like this, and I'm kind of going like this, right? And so I bought that duplex, renovated it while I had my day job. Absolutely hated my day job. I've never enjoyed having a day job, right? I've always had that desire to do something for myself, even if it meant working a lot more hours for less pay. So I would do my day job, make very little money. Then I would work all evenings at these rental properties for no money. And that's how I lived out the first 7 years of my life as a real estate investor. And it was absolute torture. And like, I found out about CashFlow Tribe November 2019, and 2019 was the absolute worst year of my life. Like, I thought going into 2019, this is going to be the best year of my life. I've got some real estate. I'm going to start this Amazon store. I'm going to do all these things. We're going to really figure it out. Well, my Amazon store lost $30,000. My wife wasn't really working. I wasn't making much money. And now I'm having tenant problems at all my rental properties. And then my tenants aren't paying rent. And then they trash the places. And I ran out of money twice in my life. Once in 2014 and once in 2019. And when I say run out of money, I mean run out of access to money. You have no money, you have no credit, everything's maxed out, and you have no way to pay the bills. And that is a brutal place to be. And nothing makes you feel like a failure is when you run out of money. And so I've done that twice, and it sucks, and I'll never forget it. But I think it was the best thing that ever happened to me, to be honest. And so come May, I finally get this tenant out. She absolutely destroyed my rental property. I had no money to fix it. And we were in a really tough position. And so I ended up getting a Visa card from Scotia, and I ended up doing my renovations off the Visa card. And then come October, Visa card's maxed out. I have no way to pay my bills. I've got a wife and kids at home. And so I ended up borrowing, I think, 10 grand off my parents just to pay the bills. And when you're 35 and you're borrowing money off your parents to pay your bills, like that's about as low as it got in my mind. And then I had my student rental and it appreciated. I thought, okay, I'm going to sell this thing October. And the market was hot. As soon as I throw this thing on the market dies. 50 showings, not one offer. And it's like, I was desperate. Meanwhile, I reached out to you because in the midst of all my pain, I'm trying to put together a 5-property deal because I want to keep pushing myself and growing. So despite all my problems, I'm trying to buy another 5 properties with no money. Can't figure this out. So then I joined CashFlow Tribe, November 2019. I believe that's when it started because I was really desperate for a change. I realized the road I was going on was a road of misery, pain, and torture. And like, I had 3 rental properties. I was dead broke. I was miserable. And like, life was not going the way I wanted to go. I thought working smart was laying flooring at 10 at night at my rental properties. You know, I thought that was the thing to do. So then when I heard about the boot camp in January 2020, I figured out a way to get there. I knew I had to be in that room. I knew I wasn't doing things right. I wasn't doing things effectively, right? Other people around me are growing as a real estate investor, and I'm really struggling. Like, I was the hardest working guy I knew and the brokest guy I knew. And that sucks, honestly. You know, when you work so hard and you don't see any rewards, you know, it's very defeating. And you know, when we talk about that self-talk, I had very negative self-talk. I thought I deserved failures, successes for someone else, you know, all those things. And I would tell myself this as I'm laying my baseboards, as I'm doing all these things and working through my challenges. And it was like a never ending challenges with no reward at the end ever. And so when I joined the boot camp, like, I was all ears. I was ready for a change. I did not need any convincing that I needed to change what I was doing.
Dude, what a powerful story. Like, Alex, we've had some really tough conversations about life and business and how to move forward. What changed for you? Like, you came to a boot camp and you're let's be honest, man, you're a guy going, I'm running out of options here. I'm working hard, I'm pushing myself. It's not for lack of effort. And I think you can agree, most people, it's not for lack of effort or desire. What changed for you? Was there a tactical, help people at home understand what happened to you at the boot camp and then beyond that got you to this point? Hit us with the deets, man, so people understand, maybe some of the concepts here.
So the biggest for me, and I know people hear this all the time, it was mindset. You know, I thought I was working smart. I thought I was doing things well when I wasn't. And I actually learned from you and Matt how to actually run a real business. I never had that example growing up of someone who is running a real business and what that actually looks like, and that you don't actually have to sacrifice your life for the business like I was doing. There's actually a different way and a better way to run a business. So that was one thing. And another thing was learning about OPM, how to actually use it, how to actually partner with people. I was so against partnering with anyone. I'm going to do this on my own. I'm going to prove to the world that I'm not a failure, because deep down, that's how I felt every single day in my life. And
Alex, let me ask you this. I see Arthur's got a question here. And guys, feel free to share your questions here. What did it feel like, some of the feelings in November 2019? A lot of people are stuck in that same like unknown, like the fear of failure, the fear of rejection. Dude, did you just not have a choice and you had to make a move? Or like, what was that feeling for you?
Like, honestly, I was at the lowest low, where I've tried so many things and I've had mediocre success at best. Like, I had a family, like, I wasn't suicidal or anything, but man, I was like something's got to change, or like life isn't worth living. Like, this is brutal. And so I was at the absolute low of my low, and I had wife and 2 kids at home. Like, I really got to make something happen. Like, I was absolutely desperate, and I knew I needed a change, whatever that looked like. So, you know, I was at my low in my life. Seriously, like, my job was miserable. The people I worked with were awful. You know, I was gaining a pile of weight because I was depressed and miserable. And like, I was at a really bad place in my life.
Let me touch on that. By the way, thank you for sharing the honest truth. Again, we're not here to impress people with all the amazing success you've had and other people, but just impress upon them the significance and the importance of taking it seriously. Alex, here's what I find, man, and maybe this will help somebody listening in the audience today, but I find that people have a gas tank and they run at stuff their own. You know, they do it, and they drain that gas tank. They drain the gas tank, and then they finally get to fumes. They're running on fumes, and they're like, shit, I just can't do this anymore. I'm stuck. Maybe my mindset's broken. I feel like crap every day. I don't know how to get traction. I've been hit so many times. And then they go, all right, I'm ready to accept some help. This is my experience. I find that people bring their leftover energy and go, I'm ready for help. Please help me. But by that point, they're so defeated, we actually have to rebuild people's confidence before they're going to take any considerable action, because they're so low comp. Dude, did you find that way, or did you have some of those symptoms or some of that feeling at that time back in November?
Yeah, honestly, you guys were my last resort. Like, I was desperate. I was out of options. I didn't know what to do. You guys were my last resort. And I knew when I went to the boot camp and I was going to join council, I knew that was a fork in the road. And that fork in the road was going to change my future. And I knew I had no choice. I did not have a choice. I had to follow through. I had to be a part of this. Like I talk about the shifts from the boot camp, but the biggest one was my mindset. You know, the mindset of self-hate, the self-talk, right? You say things to yourself that you would never allow someone else to say to you ever. And it's terrible, the things we say to ourselves in private. And we put ourselves down that we deserve failure and all this stuff. And it's not true. You know, we need positive self-talk. And I learned that day because I actually really hated myself. And that's from childhood issues, whatever, right? But I need to learn to love myself. And I started making that change as I realized that that was a big weakness of mine. So I started positive self-talk, gratitude, affirmations. I do deserve success. Failure doesn't have to be for me. I don't have to drive the biggest piece of junk vehicle on the road and be the hardest guy working and not getting anywhere. Like there is a better way to do things. And that was the biggest thing for me. It was shifting that mindset. Like that was everything.
You're touching on some pretty key things, and people go, well, hey man, this is supposed to be a real estate thing. And I think truthfully, it's a life thing, right? So many of us, the environments that we're in and the conditioning we have is to have a certain set of beliefs and habits. And when things don't go your way, we just keep hitting our freaking head against the same thing over and over again. We're doing the same activity we did last week and last year, and we're still not getting any further. Like the brick wall behind me, we keep hitting the brick wall. Yeah.
Success and failure, it's all up here.
Tell me.
What is your mindset? How do you view life? Do you have an ego problem? Are you arrogant? Are you teachable? Are you willing to learn? Are you willing to change your ways? Are you willing to pivot? Are you willing to admit that you're wrong? It's all up here. And if you can tweak those things and make changes up here, you will go from failure to success. But if you're not teachable, you have an ego problem, you're insecure, you're trying to prove things to the world, you are not going to succeed. You have to do things with the right intention, the right motivation, and you will start to change. You will see change in your life, not just in business, but in personal relationships, fitness, everything.
Okay, dude, this is getting up my alley. I love it. This is like a mentorship call live for the world to see. Alex, let me hit you with this. A lot of people, when they first come to get more information about real estate, or they want to do their first deal or their fifth deal, they're looking for so much tactical help. Give me the exact steps, 1, 2, 3, to go and buy my first property, my next property. And that's what they say. But the problem is their confidence is so low, they actually need a tactical approach to building up their confidence. Hey man, change your habits. You need to start reading some positive stuff. You need to surround yourself with some people that are going to support you. Like there's no negativity in our mastermind group. You know this. Like we're a positive group of people. We're not fake. We're positive. So when you see us for the first time, you might go, oh, this guy smiles too much. This guy's too damn happy. This guy's too whatever. And what you're seeing is a level of purpose and intention that most people just don't have. Alex, talk about that. I need tactical real estate before I have the right thinking, and maybe some of your experience with that.
When you look at successful business owners, they have the mindset. Without the right mindset, you will not succeed because you will have self-destructive habits. Whether you're not teachable, you have the ego, all those things I mentioned, you have to fix up here first before you can put together good partnerships and understand how to build a business, because your business will not outmature your own maturity as a business owner, right? If you're an immature, egotistical business owner, you're going to have an immature, egotistical business that's going to crash and burn. And so personal development is number one. And we've invested $200,000 in personal development in ourselves, in our team. And that return on investment is endless, because not only does it help you in the business the rest of your life to make better decisions, it helps you in your marriage. It helps you in every aspect, like how you view life from a positive lens instead of a negative. Like every aspect of your life improves. And let me tell you, you cannot have a successful business if your marriage is crap, right? If your relationships are crap, your business will be crap. It all works together. Like you've said, like other people have said, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Dropping nuggets, man. I really respect you for the change. I watch you every morning when you're posting your little Facebook post, like, I'm reading this book, I'm getting up early, I'm doing my workout. I know you did, 75 hard program with us and got a personal trainer as well, same one I have actually. And we're working through life so we can work through our business in a more effective way. Alex, let me pivot for a second to the business. People, I want everybody to get a little bit of tactical financial advice or business advice on today's conversations. What is some of the financial or tactical things that you changed up in your real estate business that helped you get some traction? And can you give us some numbers or some data behind that so people can get a sense of the scope of your business today?
So a big one was learning to push myself in a different way, learning to do things better. So learning to push myself to do bigger deals, not pushing myself to be at the rental till 10 at night, right? Like, yes, I'm pushing just as hard in a different way, but now I'm actually getting results because I'm putting my attention to something that's more worthwhile. So we're focusing on bigger deals. So last year we did a bunch of flips, buy and holds, whatever. Now we're doing builds, we're doing flips, we're raising money, and I'm willing to take on partners. Like, everything I do is with partners. Like, we're doing flips and builds. I'm a money partner, Clydesdale Capital Group with Mark Smith. Roberto Lamas is my active partner. The guy is killer, right? And my business partner, Mark, we do everything as one. I am not alone anymore. And it's interesting because everyone talks about personal development. Very few people see the importance of it. When shit hits the fan and everything's going against you, it's your personal development that you've been doing that's going to keep you alive and keep you going to wake up the next day and keep pushing. I've experienced it. Mark's experienced it. Many people have. And I've seen it personally where our personal development kept us alive and kept us from getting depressed and making terrible decisions that would affect our lives.
Let me hit on something because you're hitting, again, a lot of personal development stuff. I want to come back to just the numbers for a second. I know you guys were doing some smaller single family projects. Can you give me an example of maybe a bigger project here that you're working on, or maybe geographically, what's going on in your business that's allowing you to scale? Because some people look and they're like, man, this sounds great, Alex, but transparency is a core value here at CashFlow Tribe. This sounds great, but give me a sense of like a number that people can tether to and go, wow, or no big deal. But give me something that they can chew on for a minute.
A big deal we're closing on Friday is a 29-unit apartment in Brooks, Alberta. I'm closing on that with a list of partners, and we have no money down, and the property cash flow is $4,000 a month. And then we have a 12-unit in the pipeline as soon as this closes, and an 18-unit in the pipeline after that closes. So those are some bigger deals we're working on. And yeah, there's Roberto right there. Honestly, Roberto's been an amazing partner. And with partnerships, when you're having a bad day, your partner can encourage you and spur you on. And that is so important with partnerships. And we have special skill sets. Roberto's skill set is different than my skill set. And that's why we work together. So I'm doing 6 builds with Roberto as Clydesdale, and we're doing 4 flips. Clydesdale Capital, once all these current projects are done, after everyone's paid, we will be profitable about $500,000 this year. We'll have about $500,000 in the bank. And considering all of our challenges, everything we've been through, to be profitable in our first year of business like that, I'm excited because now we're doing things better next year to be even more profitable and to take more risk off the table.
Dude, that is amazing. Congratulations from me to you. Dude, that is powerful. See, as a business owner, I got to give you a lot of props for that. Most businesses are certainly not profitable in their first year. And most people, as we come to the last few minutes of our conversation, I recognize that most people in investing, they look at the idea that they're investing their money when truthfully they're not. They're running an active business. But we call it investing because, frankly, that's the narrative we have. Can you speak to the difference that you've noticed between this and the active side? Share some of your thoughts on that.
So what I consider success is being able to grow your business without growing your stress and growing the hours you have to work a week. So we're taking on more projects next year, but that doesn't mean I have to work more hours a week, right? And that's a difference to what I'm doing now versus what I was doing before. Before CashFlow Tribe, I was working 45 hours a week at my day job, and I was working another 30 hours a week at my rental properties, right? And so now my goal is to actually grow the business and do less. And it's interesting because people focus on the real estate. Okay, yes, it's a real estate business, but it's actually a relationship business, right? That's why it's important to spend time with people, build these relationships. The reason we're able to raise over $2 million is because we're likable people who've built trusting relationships with people that trust us. My word is everything, right? And that's how we operate. It's a relationship and reputation business. It's not a real estate business.
Dude, that is such a good way to put this into perspective for people, because we talk about things like digging the well, the relational well on capital. I think, and we could probably kind of wrap up with this thought and this question. A lot of people get stuck on raising money. You guys are called Clydesdale Capital, right? Which, I mean, that's a good name. I think somebody kind of put that on your plate. I don't know who,
we stole it.
We stole it, Hundo, and I stole it. It's a good name. It's a good name, okay? Clydesdale Capital. The essence of being able to raise capital for every deal, fund every deal 100% is very new, very progressive thinking, or not. But I think a lot of real estate investors, they go, I got to put 20% down. I got to save my down payments. I got to do blah, blah, blah. They're constantly trying to fit pieces in the puzzle where you guys are just simply filling up the cup. You go to the fountain, fill it up with more capital, and you do deals. Dude, what's the big difference, or what's a piece of thinking in the last 2 minutes that you can share on that? Raising capital versus like down payments and stuff for your deals. Give us some wisdom.
You need to show up and meet people, have dinner with people, get to know people, because that's where creative ideas come and out of the box thinking comes. A lot of the ideas I have are not my own. There are other ideas that people have spoken into my life that I am now doing. So whether it's using properties as collateral to buy other properties, whatever it may be, like, I have to give a shout out to the Finleys. They've been fantastic. Like, I'm good friends with them, and they think out the box with me. When I have a problem, they're bringing solutions. And you want to surround yourself with people who bring solutions, who are like-minded individuals. And here's the thing, we're all allies who can succeed together. I'm not a lending business, but I've lent real estate investors money who are in a pinch. Other real estate investors have lent me money when I'm in a pinch who don't lend. And we can all succeed and grow together. And that's what's exciting about surrounding yourself with allies, because we're not competing, we're all succeeding together. Dude, and my life motto is to live without regrets. So in everything I do, I'm doing my very best to live without regrets. And I want to encourage and inspire people to do the same.
Dude, that's amazing. Amazing. Alex, I got to tell you, man, publicly, I'm extremely proud of you for the success, the hard work, and everything you've accomplished. You and Andrea, just so thankful that I've got the chance to know you and to mentor you. And I've learned so much by just watching you. And I think surrounding ourselves with people of value, of quality, people who live in abundance, abundance breeds more abundance. Just like scarcity will breed more scarcity. And dude, I'm thankful for you. I'm encouraged watching you grow. Just keep pushing forward, man. And I think people at home have gotten an awesome chance to get to know you. Where's the best place people can reach out to you? We've got, your information on the screen. How can people connect with you? And what are you working on today that somebody can plug in with you?
So what we're doing, we're multiplying out for next year. So we're lining up projects for next year. Connect with me. Facebook, my name, Alex Solga. Instagram, Time is Money. Email, time@ismoney.org. My phone number, 519-410-3230. Hit me up and let's grab a coffee. Alex,
thank you so much, man. Thank you for sharing your story. Go hit a birdie or whatever they do up the golf course.
I'll do my best.
It's going to be amazing. And I hope you have an awesome day, brother. We'll see you very soon. We'll see you tonight at the party. Everybody else, thank you for tuning in so far. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with our next amazing speaker after this short video break.
Hey guys, my name is TJ.
I'm Callie Braithwaite.
My name's Alex Mustachia.
Hello, my name is Catherine O'Neill.
My name is Alex Solga.
I had to go out west, 2 to 3 months at a time and leave my family here.
Real estate was always the end game to get me out of the 9-to-5 rat race.
I've always had an interest in entrepreneurship.
An old boss of mine mentioned her 5 real estate investment properties.
From 2012 to 2017, I had an absolute horrible experience. I was the hardest working guy I knew, and I was the brokest guy I knew.
And that's when I started flipping and failing and stuff, and then I just get frustrated because the time, it wasn't fast enough.
Discovered I was going in totally the wrong direction.
I made a promise to myself that I was going to be home with my family and watch them grow.
I knew there had to be a better way, and that's one of the big reasons why I joined council.
Thought to myself, I've got to join this group. Joined council, and I've been delighted ever since.
I learned about positive self-talk, mindset shift, how to actually build a business.
Like I've got 12 flips as of this year, 7 flips currently as I'm standing here. A business that's operating completely on its own. I have a lending company.
I was able to get into my first flip, and we were able to turn a $50,000 profit.
I'm learning things that I never knew before. Strategies were refined. I was able to build up confidence.
I believe that we can all win together. That's my preferred way of being.
It's awesome helping people because as much as I want to build my real estate portfolio, I love inspiring and helping people.
All right, welcome back. Amazing. Hey, by the way, if you're out there streaming this, thank you so much for sharing it out. I hope that these stories really impact you today and leave a positive tone on your heart and they warm you. We're all live over on the CashFlow Tribe YouTube page. So if you want to join the conversation and hang out with some folks, head over to CashFlow Tribe YouTube page. Feel free to share up that comment, and we've got some really cool stuff for you today. Listen, if you're thinking about, maybe I need to talk to somebody about mentorship and see what this thing looks like, whether you're running on fumes or you still got a full gas tank and you really want to amp up your real estate investing, whether you're starting, whether you've already got some traction, you want to build a real business here, here's what I'm going to encourage you to do. I'm going to encourage you to just book a call. We've got Sarah standing by, and she's an amazing person on our team, and she'd love to just chat with you. You can take your phone out right now, and you can scan the little QR code to book an absolutely free mentorship assessment call. We're going to chat with you. We're going to get to know you better, and we're going to talk about some options. And if it's a good fit for you and it's the right time, we love to help you make the journey. Join us, people like Alex and people like our next guest, Alan, who's coming up in just 1 second. And we've got some fun. We're a fun group of people. We love having fun. So today, what's going to happen is we're going to select one lucky winner. Sarah says, what? 1,000? My God, we got $1,000 going to somebody here today. This is going to be cool. So we're going to announce the winner at the end of the day. If you're going to book a call. You have a chance to win $1,000 cash prize, which we will announce at the end of the day. I might have to go get $1,000, Sarah. I think I'm going to have to get $1,000. You guys want me to get $1,000 and show it to you? I might have to do that in the next couple of hours here. All right, so go ahead and do that, and we'll see you guys, on that conversation with Sarah. It's going to be really cool. All right, moving on. I want to jump into the next conversation right away. So hope you guys have some popcorn. I've got my coffee here ready to go. I would love to talk to you guys about the next champion. His name is Abbas. Alan is really a boss. Okay, we tease him often. We love his nickname. Alan was working in a factory in Michigan. He's from my hometown of Windsor, Ontario. And Alan approached me and said, hey man, I see you guys are doing stuff. I see you're doing a lot of deals. Like Ben, your team and you guys are closing so many deals on the flipping side, on the wholesaling side, on the lending side. I really want to get started in this, and I want to figure out how to get it going for myself. So Alan joined the general CashFlow Tribe community and sat in the back of the room for a couple months before he finally stepped up into mentorship. And you know what? He had a rough start, like all of us do, because when we're starting something new, there's always going to be a journey. And then I remember him calling me going, man, I got my first $3,500 deal. Doesn't seem like a lot of money, but that was the catalyst to another one, and eventually doing a $25,000 deal. And Alan has been kicking butt for the last several months, really on wholesaling, flipping houses in my local market. And what's really cool that I appreciate about Alan is that he was able to pay off $30,000 of debt, bad debt, in 2020. So without further ado, let me bring my boy on, guy I have a lot of respect for, my boy, Alan Abbas. Welcome, man, to the stream.
Hey, Ben, how's it going?
Hey, man, good to see you. Good to see you, dude. Alan, dude, I want to dive into your story a little bit because you represent a big group of people that I kind of grew up with. People who got out of high school, people that decided to go into a trade or into a high-paying, I call it an auto job or a factory job, right? Blue-collar city. And you were doing quite well. And I remember like watching you during the live calls on the CashFlow Tribe group, and you're like in your little cage. It looks like a prison, and you're at work and you're doing your thing. Alan, can you take us back real quick and walk us through, your job and what you were doing prior to jumping into mentorship?
Yeah, so I was a contractor. I was a robot programmer working in the automation industry, specifically auto sector. So the big three, just working in factories, really traveling all over Ontario and Michigan and the US. And yeah, just long hours, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. That was kind of typical, and just looking for a way out. And yeah, blessed to join CashFlow Tribe and get started with real estate.
Okay, so talk to me, man. You're a young guy. You've got a lot of energy. You're working 12 hours, 7 days a week. And what I find is, we get so conditioned to doing that. Maybe our friends and family, everybody else does the same thing. It just seems like this is normal life. Like you're supposed to work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. What even got you interested in real estate? Were you tired of the job? Were you just trying to supplement and make some more income? What got you going in this direction? Obviously, you had a good job, probably making some good cash.
Yeah,
right?
it was like average income. There was the potential to, as you get more experience, be like self-employed, have your own corp, and make more money. But yeah, originally it was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That book kind of changed my whole perspective. So that was definitely one of the beginning things that showed me the path to real estate. And then also a Rich Dad seminar. There was a Rich Dad seminar in Edmonton when I was living out west. So I signed up for that and kind of discovered wholesaling. And I was spinning my wheels trying to figure it out for a couple of years, but I did go back to school for the robotics. So it was always in the back of my mind though. And yeah, I always just wanted to own some real estate. It seemed like a great idea. I wanted to get into business. And before real estate, I tried a bunch of different things, day trading stocks and network marketing and different commission sales jobs, and failed at a lot of those different things. But it was definitely good, like foundation building blocks for myself.
All right, so you touched on something. I want to hit on it before we go on. A lot of us young guys, when we get started in our early 20s, mid 20s, whatever, we're looking for opportunities, right? We're opportunity seekers. So we join the multi-level marketing things, and we do the stock trading thing. We do anything with a relatively low barrier of entry, right? We don't buy a commercial building because, it's a high barrier of entry, you need capital, whatever. And sometimes you go, oh man, you're just trying to get rich quick. I want folks to understand that unless you're one of those people, it's tough to comprehend what goes through the mind. The mind goes, there has to be a better way to do life. There has to be a better way to create income. There has to be a better way to create the lifestyle that I want. It's not that I have a desire to do 1,500 different things that all produce a little bit of money, but is there a better way than me just slugging it away for the next 30 years in a factory? So I know, Alan, what was the catalyst for you? Did you just like business, or like, how do you resonate with what I just said? Does that make sense? Do you agree? Do you disagree?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I was always seeking opportunity, and I was always interested in business. Like most people, you don't really know what career path you want to take. So I think for a lot of people like myself, it's, we're entrepreneurs. We want to be business owners. We just don't know which industry or which business. So I feel like you got to try a lot of different things to find out what you're good at, what you enjoy, what you'll succeed at. So I just kind of stumbled my way through it, and then I had some success through real estate wholesaling in the beginning, and I learned everything that I did in the past to kind of have success in real estate. Like, it all helped me get here to this point.
Okay, Alan, let's get real, man. I want you to take us to the weeks leading into your decision to join mentorship, because I'm trying to help people understand where they are in their journey and where you were in your journey, because there's going to be some correlation. I believe success is linear, and success definitely leaves clues. Where were you at mentally, physically, financially around this time you decided to make a decision, and what pushed you into it?
Well, right before, I actually went to a networking event in Toronto. So I drove 4 hours one way. I got introduced to another investor that's out of Windsor, and I stayed in touch with him. And there was another deal that I thought it was going to be my first deal, but it didn't pan out. But just all these events, they kind of tied together for me. And I just felt that I was so close to getting that first deal. And then eventually I did come across that deal. I called that investor that I met in the Toronto event. We ended up making it happen. That was that $3,500 deal you referred to in the beginning. But that didn't close till January. So between like November and January, I've been watching you in Windsor for quite some time while I was still in college. So I seen your ads all over. I knew what you were up to.
So you were creeping me.
I was creeping.
You were creeping me. And by watching me, just to clarify for people at home, you were watching my company buy and sell real estate deals because you were seeing my signs and my advertising and my radio ads and all this stuff that I was doing to get deals. So just want to clarify. So you're watching me and keep going.
Yeah. So next thing I know, I think I started following you on social, and then you and Matt had that free event in Windsor, and I just told myself, I'm like, man, I have to meet these guys. These guys, this is what they do, right? Day in and day out. I'm just kind of struggling to get that first deal done. I have to connect with these guys, see what they're up to. And that's what I did. Then I joined CashFlow Tribe, and then there was a boot camp. I missed the first one, but I went to the second one in London. I just felt very obligated that I needed to connect with you guys. And I felt very strongly that I needed a mentor. I'm not afraid of hard work. I just need to know, like, just show me what I have to do and I'll do it. I'm not afraid of the work.
So really for you, is it fair to say it was about the accountability and just a clear plan?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, what I find in my experience, Alan, is like people, they have an idea of what they want, but the problem is they don't actually know how to get there. Because you're not going to just naturally conceptualize it. Like, you're not going to dream it and go, oh, I know the exact thing I need to do. And the reason I paid over 300 grand for mentorships is because I want somebody who has actually done it, meaning they've experienced the journey, they know the problems, they know the opportunities, and I can go, whatever you've built, I can build. I can't build beyond you with your help, but I can build what you've built. So I usually find it's a proven plan and accountability, and that's what kind of brings the level of confidence to do it. Talk to me, bro, about your first few months. Like, I know a little bit of struggle first getting situated. Tell me that journey. Give me the crap and the good stuff in doing this business.
Well, the first deal, in my opinion, is always the hardest. So once I got that one, I had like I was just re-energized. I had more confidence. I'm like, okay, if I did it once, I know I could do it again. I could do it twice. So shortly after, I was able to get my second deal done just through networking. Came across an investor who had a property for sale, linked up with that from the first deal. The investor that bought that property, he also bought the second deal. So that gave me, some more confidence. But then really it was joining council and seeing what some of the other people in the room were doing. And, I think one of the guys did like 30 grand and he was year to date, and this is January. And I remember my mind was so blown. I'm like, what do you mean 30 grand year to date? We're in the first month. Like, how's that even possible? So it just got me thinking bigger and see what's actually possible, because people are doing it. And I just learned what they did and I just repeated it. So I figured if I copy what they do, I'll get a similar result. And that's just what I did. And then the deal started to trickle in.
So again, I said it earlier, success leaves clues, man. And I think sometimes people read a book like Rich Dad, Poor Dad and go, if I just do exactly what they did, I'm going to get the result. And to a degree, it's right, but we don't quantify what is the result, because as the market shifts, it gets harder and hotter and things become more difficult. And, you got to get tighter and you got to get more clear on a very proven plan. And, it's like a roller coaster. It's going to have its ups and downs. The question is, are you still on the ride, or did you get off when it went down because it was easier to just back away? Alan, give us a tactical piece, man. When you did your very first deal, I'd love if you can just give people, I did this, and this, and just like whatever it was, a flyer campaign, a conversation. Could you just walk us through that deal or another deal? Just give people a sense of what you did and maybe how much profit you had at the end of the day, just to give them a very clear correlation between the work and the result.
Yeah, I mean, the first deal I kind of stumbled upon from driving for dollars, but it really, I was able to close it because I had the buyer, and that just came through networking. So networking was super, super important for me. And even that second deal, it actually came from an investor who was selling a triplex that I met almost randomly because I was calling it for sale by owner and he was selling it. But it was all about the networking because I knew about the marketing, but I didn't really implement it until I joined council because I seen exactly what was done from a tactical approach. So before that, it was just kind of my will and hunger to succeed and just driving for dollars and networking to find the cash buyers, right? And then after that, I was able to do the marketing. And then that first campaign, I did very well. I think I got 5 deals from the first campaign. So the deals were very small in the beginning. Like you said, the first one was 3,500. And I did a lot for 5,000. The second one was 5,000. I think third, fourth were $5,000, $5,000. I see everyone else doing $20,000, $30,000 deals. I'm like, how do I do one of those? And then, months later, I did a $25,000 deal and some bigger ones as well.
So just to be clear, because I want folks to understand, by the way, I'm not here to blow smoke up your butt or anybody else's. I already think you're amazing. I'm here as an advocate to the viewer, because if I'm in the viewer's shoes, I'm, skeptical Sarah, or I'm, crazy Catherine, or I'm angry Andrew, or I'm, whatever. Like, I'm a person sitting here going, okay, this guy's talking about all this cool stuff. He's making some money, 35. Then he's got up to 25. That's really, really cool. Dude, where do people really struggle at the beginning and before mentorship, after? Where do people get lost in this thinking? Because I really respect you for, I did a $3,500 wholesale deal. You don't have to be a $50,000 to feel successful. $3,500 is a great first start. Where do people struggle, man? Do they try to do it on their own and they don't have confidence? Are they networking with the wrong people? Share with me some of your thoughts around why people actually fail at this. Go for it.
I think they just quit too early. Definitely not having a mentor and doing it by yourself makes it way harder. Like I couldn't have done it by myself. There's just no way. There's a lot of, even before council, like I said, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the Rich Dad seminar, like all these things help, right? And then that I came to like a boiling point where this is the kind of like the final straw, if you will. But I think people just quit too early. They make a couple offers, they get they deal with rejection, and then they just quit. Because I had to go through a lot of properties and a lot of no's before I ever got that first deal, right? So that's what no one talks about. No one talks about the deals that I didn't get.
So let's talk about it, since we got a few minutes here. The deals you didn't get, the rejection. People have, in my opinion, a false sense of fear. Like somebody's going to say no and you're going to burst into flames, right? Like your whole life is destroyed because somebody didn't agree to sell you a property. How do you deal with that? Is it your environment of people around you helping you, support you? Is it your own mental toughness? Is it conditioning? How do you deal with that? And do you think the fear is a real thing, or is it just some self-imposed nonsense?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the people you surround yourself with, because before I even did my first deal, I was sharing with my friends and family, like, I have this idea. I heard about this wholesaling thing. I'm going to flip real estate with no money, no credit. And just the responses I got was pretty interesting. Like, because people don't get it, right, until you do it. So they're like, what is this guy talking about? Like, so you're excited when you're new, you want to share with other people what you're doing, but it's not like they really support you. They don't really do it on purpose. They just don't know any better. So sharing it with the wrong people. And yeah, I mean, not knowing what to expect, I guess. Like the first time I made an offer, I just didn't even know how to make the proper offer. Like how do I even, present it? After you do it so many times, it becomes kind of more natural. But yeah, it's definitely your environment, I'd say.
So let's touch on that just real briefly before we move on here. So, mentorship moment time, okay? People in your life, they love you, but they haven't done what you aspire to do. They can't validate you. So talking to your friends and family about, I heard about wholesaling. I read this guy's book. This humble guy wrote a book called Real Estate Secrets Exposed. I read it. He says, I can literally buy real estate without a credit, without a down payment, without qualifications. And people go, that's a scam. See, anything that violates their reality has to be a scam. The only people who really do well in mentorship are the ones who are moving towards a new reality, and they adopt the new reality and they stay there. Versus, I live in a reality where I have to put 20% down on everything. I live in a reality where wholesaling doesn't work. I live in a reality where I have a 9-to-5 job and I've been conditioned for 20 years. Well, then why would you believe that Alan can go and make $3,500 because he door knocked a couple of houses which cost him $0? you can't live in that reality because it challenges your belief system about money, about success, and it has to be a scam or wrong or whatever. So people who are moving towards it, which first they have the desire, and then they have the tenacity to move towards the unknown, it's in that transition that you change your beliefs because you change your awareness. That's the mentorship moment for everybody. So Al, I saw you as a person that was grasping on. When you came to that event that I threw for free in Windsor, I see this like hungry, wide-eyed guy, and he's coming in like, hey man, what are you guys doing? In fact, there's a direct correlation by how wide your eyes are when I meet you to like how successful you're going to be, right? You're like, and you know, and I know we were there and you posted an awesome picture the other day, and I had, you know, had the Lamborghini out and stuff like that, and you were posting pictures and it was exciting. But dude, I guess my last question here as I push forward on this mentorship moment idea is this like for everybody if they just shift their mindset, or is it just for somebody? Maybe help us understand, who is it for?
I think it's for anyone that wants it. Anyone that wants it, they can have it if they put in the work, if they work on their mindset and develop the skills. You just gotta want it bad.
All right, let me hit you with this. We got a couple comments coming in. We got JD wants to know, how do you raise money? He's asking if there's any specific books to learn from. When somebody says, is there a book on this? What do you respond with, Alan? How did you raise money?
I mean, there are lots of books out there. I have a couple. I haven't even finished reading them. But it's really about building relationships. So just really networking and finding a great fit. Like I was able to raise some money without finishing those books. And it's just having conversations and networking and making sure it's the right fit.
All right, you said something cool. You didn't even finish the book. So what you're saying is it doesn't matter. I didn't finish the book. I just raised money through relationships. Maybe you can help people, because there's a lot of people maybe brand new to this whole concept here. How do you raise money, dude, when you don't have, like, again, you just quit your job, right? So how long into your real estate mentorship did you actually quit your job?
About 8 months or so.
8 months in, you quit your job. The standard job that every blue collar guy loves to have in high school. You got that job. You're doing overtime. You're doing 7 days a week. You're doing all that stuff. And then you quit it within 8 months, which I think is freaking awesome, brother. Congratulations for that. I'm happy for you to have the time now and the flexibility to work on your business. Can you walk us through maybe a little bit more tactically on like raising money and this idea of like relationships? Because this might be a foreign concept to some people.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely easier to raise money when it's secured. So if you have a deal that makes sense, where you could afford to pay private rates, you know, the 10, 12%, if it makes sense, I mean, for the average person, the easiest way, go talk to a broker, go talk to a mortgage broker. That's their job, to match private lenders with borrowers. So that's what they do. Eventually you can cut, they're basically the middleman. So you can cut the broker out and just go direct to the lender. So that's, private lenders are people that you know, right? Friends, family, people in your network. Really, I think it starts with educating them, to educate them about the opportunity and how it works. Because for a lot of people, they don't know that they could even lend on a mortgage, right? So it depends who you're talking to. If you're talking to someone that's been doing it for 5 years, they already know the ropes. And as long as the deal's sound, it should be no issue. But when you're trying to recruit someone that's never lent money before, then you kind of have to take the time and educate them and explain to them kind of the pros and cons and walk them through that process.
Alan, I love, because you're a young guy. How old are you now, brother?
Just turned 30.
30 years old. Okay, amazing, man. You know, quit the job by 30. It sounds like the dream for a lot of young guys, millennial people. What piece of advice can you give to maybe somebody just like you? I'm not talking to everybody. I'm talking to the young guy. He graduated high school. You know, he's going on to maybe some kind of, you know, career work or whatever. And he says, I want to get into real estate. If you had to sum up your experience into a few statements, what advice would you give him?
Get a mentor. Get a mentor, really. That's number one. And then aside from that, you got to do some marketing. This is a sales and marketing business. And I think that's why it took me so long to do that first deal, because I didn't do any marketing. Like I said, I just stumbled across it driving for dollars. Had I sent out marketing, I probably would have done that first deal a lot sooner. So I mean, don't complicate it. Get a mentor. Start marketing. That's what I would do.
Okay, you just hit on something awesome, and I know we have a few minutes here, so I'm actually going to deep dive this with you. You guys cool in the comments? I'm going to deep dive with my boy Alan and just hit on a mentorship moment here. So many real estate investors, they come from the employee mindset. So what happens is they're very, very focused on operations. If I simply get a deal, then I can go ahead and like swing a hammer, put in my sweat equity, and go ahead and like work my way into profit, right? It's called forced appreciation because the shit ain't easy. It's forced. It's not easy appreciation. It's forced appreciation. So we just do this operational thing where we just keep grinding and making money. What nobody ever taught you is that in a hot market, the things that you need to be successful with investing, marketing and sales, most people do not have those skill sets. Most people don't understand what marketing is. They understand operations. Because as an employee, you're paid for showing up. So we go to flip houses as an employee, we think we're going to get paid for simply showing up and swing the hammer. When the truth is, wholesaling and flipping is a business, not a job. So you get paid in direct relation to how much equity and value you can extract. Talk to us, man, about the ignorance of marketing in the last minute or two here. How much did you not know, and what did you learn that's helped you kind of grow your business?
I mean, I didn't know a whole lot. Like I said earlier, I just kind of copied what other people are doing because if it works for them in the next town over, why wouldn't it work for me? And actually, the first time I found out what the other guys were doing, I didn't even implement it. And then I went back to the next boot camp and, you know, they were sharing their numbers and they were just ridiculous. There's very, very high. I was like, man, what are you guys doing? And then they're like, oh, marketing, handwritten letters. You know, now if you guys try to apply that strategy, it might be a little too late. But back then, I didn't know much about it. I just did it and I got the result. So it's.
All right. So last question, brother. Can people still get deals in a hot market? And if so, what do they need to do compared to like a cold market or an accelerating market like we saw a number of years ago?
Yeah, you could definitely get deals. I'm still doing deals. Other people are still doing deals. So it's definitely doable. You just have to kind of adapt. Now that I have a bit more experience, I'm not just copying what other people have done a year ago. So you kind of have to adapt to the market and maybe change your strategy as the market changes. But yeah, there's definitely deals out there.
I love it, man. Alan, I'm so proud of you, bud, for all of your accomplishment, your hard work, for your struggle, for doing 75 hard back-to-back. And, you know, we went to Mexico together and you were like, I got 3 days left. I got to finish my 75 hard. And for those of you who don't know, it's a mental toughness program. And Alan didn't have a drop of alcohol while we were there until you finished the 75 hard. Dude, I'm so proud of you. I'm excited for your life and I'm excited for the work that you're doing in my own town, which is awesome to see. Awesome to see that. What's the best way people should reach out to you? Tell everybody what you're working on and how they can plug in with you.
Yeah, definitely add me on Facebook, Alan Abbas. It's right there in the bottom hand corner. Instagram, Alan Abbas 17. Yeah, right now I just purchased a deal that's a flip from another wholesaler. Actually, I raised all the money, 100% OPM, even the renos and the holding costs. So I'm looking at doing more of these deals. So more active side, flips, wholesaling. So if someone's got some money, they want to partner up, hit me up and let's do some deals.
I love it, man. Hey, congratulations on your success. Friends and family, hit up my boy Alan Abbas if you're in the Windsor area and expanding. He's here to help you out. I know he'll treat you well. All right, folks, we're going to be back with our next conversation. Stay tuned, stay plugged in, and get ready to win $1,000 with Sarah by simply connecting with her and booking a call. We'll be back after this short video.
Hey guys, my name is TJ.
I'm Callie Braithwaite.
My name's Alex Mustachia.
Hello, my name is Catherine O'Neill.
My name is Alex Solga.
I had to go out west, 2 to 3 months at a time and leave my family here.
Real estate was always the end game to get me out of the 9-to-5 rat race.
I've always had an interest in entrepreneurship.
An old boss of mine mentioned her 5 real estate investment properties.
From 2012 to 2017, I had an absolute horrible experience. I was the hardest working guy I knew, and I was the brokest guy I knew.
And that's when I started flipping and failing and stuff, and then I just get frustrated because the time, it wasn't fast enough.
Discovered I was going in totally the wrong direction.
I made a promise to myself that I was going to be home with my family and watch them grow.
I knew there had to be a better way, and that's one of the big reasons why I joined council.
Thought to myself, I've got to join this group. Joined council, and I've been delighted ever since.
I learned about positive self-talk, mindset shift, how to actually build a business.
Like I've got 12 flips as of this year, 7 flips currently as I'm standing here. A business that's operating completely on its own. I have a lending company.
I was able to get into my first flip, and we were able to turn a $50,000 profit.
I'm learning things that I never knew before. Strategies were refined. I was able to build up confidence.
I believe that we can all win together. That's my preferred way of being.
It's awesome helping people because as much as I want to build my real estate portfolio, I love inspiring and helping people.
All right, welcome back, friends and family. We are here on an amazing Council Champions Day where we are highlighting stories of our Council Champions who are folks that have gotten results, built a business in the middle of a pandemic, and are happy and are here to share with you what's going on. Before we jump into our next story, I want to give you a quick reminder. Right now, there's a 1 in 5 chance for you to win $1,000 cash. How do you do that? You simply book a call with Sarah. There is the link right there. You can go ahead and click this QR code, book a call with Sarah. Listen, if you're considering joining mentorship or even have questions on this, we have a totally free complimentary call for you to have a conversation and discuss this. And that way you're able to just jump on, share your dialogue, and see if it's a good fit for you. So guys, go ahead and click that link. Go ahead and click the QR code, win $1,000, and we're jumping right into our next dialogue. All right, jumping in. Let's move forward here. So I'm so excited to share the next council champion with you, Allison Pazuk. I remember seeing Allison in the back of the room with her hands crossed, and she was looking at me, and she's like, I don't know if I should do this. And she eventually did do this. Allison is a retired school teacher who was in the education system her whole life, and she spent a long time, training other people, and she has had an incredible journey just with her husband, Terry, both of them actually being able to retire from their jobs in the first year. And I'm really excited for her to share her story. So everybody, welcome Allison Pazuk. Hey.
Hey.
How are you, my friend?
I'm fantastic, and I'm glad we got the memo on the same shirt.
We're on the same, look at that. We got it going on. Allie, I'm so glad you're here. I know we've been hanging out recently, and, I'm, first and foremost, just really, really proud of you for your personal, mental, spiritual, and financial accomplishments over the last year and a bit. It's been such a pleasure watching you grow. Just want to publicly say, you're awesome. Really make this worthwhile for me as a mentor and our whole community to watch you blossom. And, just really, really thankful you joined us.
Well, thanks so much. You had a really hard job to get me where I am today. So I am super grateful for everything you brought to my life.
Sure. Okay, so Allie, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to turn it over to you and give me a sense and give everybody a sense of where were you kind of prior to council, prior to this whole journey? What was your life like? What were you doing?
Sure. Well, to be quite honest, I first was interested in real estate, believe it or not, back when I was 17. I was thinking about it, and I was in the Cayman Islands visiting a friend, and there was property there that was up for sale. And I go home and I said to Dad, hey, Dad, I need you to co-sign. I'm 17. Who's going to give me a mortgage, right? So, Dad, you got to co-sign. He's like, forget it. He says, you don't want to do that. Just go to school, go to university, get a job. You need a pension. Okay, fine. So I did my dutiful. I was the first in the family to go to university. Honestly, it's terrible to say publicly, but I went into teaching for all the wrong reasons. I went in just because they had summers off, and I figured maybe I could do my own thing then. Now, if any of you have ever known teachers, you know that really and truly on paper, they have that time off, but in reality, they don't. So anyway, I really and truly did enjoy teaching in the beginning. I really was connecting with the students, particularly the ones that didn't fit, the ones that struggled with the regular environment. The academic students, they're going to learn, they're going to figure it out. But it was the students that were really a challenge that I used to get pleasure from reaching out to them. So anyway, fast forward 25, 26 years, and I'm noticing that it's just not working. You're going through the grind, and I've got these golden handcuffs, and everyone's counting down to when their retirement is and their pension kicks in. And I remember thinking, what is wrong with these teachers that retire and then come back and supply teach? Like, obviously they enjoy it. I couldn't figure out why. There's no way in heck I would do that. And so I really, really went into this funk, to be quite honest, of feeling so ineffective and being part of this cog in a wheel that I don't understand what's happening with society. And I kept on saying, something's got to happen. I can't change the system. This is a government system. We're creating factory workers and all we need are problem solvers. And so I attempted to try and inspire some students with teaching things like compound interest in real estate, which isn't really in the curriculum. So got into a little bit of trouble over that. But nevertheless, then ended up connecting with you guys at a boot camp. And truly, I don't know if you want me to go into what was happening at that boot camp.
Yeah, go for it.
But it was essentially, I was, as you said, sitting in the back of the room, super skeptical. I had been, actually, what's really interesting is where we were yesterday for our watch party is 2 blocks down from my very first webinar with the Rich Dad, Poor Dad workshop. Shouldn't say webinar, we didn't have them then. So it was the workshop. So that's where it all began in 2016. But anyway, come back up to 2020 in January. We're at the boot camp. I'm super skeptical because I'm thinking, yeah, there's just going to be this major sales pitch. They're going to be pumping, you got to get to the back of the room, and this kind of thing. So when, of course, it was a push to, hey, why don't you join council? I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. This is where it is. But that boot camp, there was so much information, and you and Matt just managed to inspire, and you in particular managed to reach out. And I know you mentioned it with Abbas, with Alex Solga, with how when you start, quite often it's mindset, particularly if you're coming out of the employee realm. So I went into the room with you to talk about counsel, and I said, I don't think I can do this. Like, as a teacher, you literally sell your soul for 10 months of the year. You are not your own person. You are just, you have a couple of weeks in the summer, really and truly, where you can be yourself. And I've got 4 more years until my pension kicks in. And you just did, just as you were doing there, you went, So how much is your pension? And I said, oh, it's a teacher's pension. It's great. It's the best around. And you get like $57,000 a year. And you went, So a couple of wholesale deals or a flip, and you'll replace your pension. And literally, it was like a slap in the face. I just kind of went, oh, shit. Oh, God, can I say that?
You're good.
And it was just like, wow, okay. So signed up for council. We were in the middle of a duplex conversion, literally had no money, lines of credit, everything was maxed out. I had to borrow money from my daughter who was in university to be able to do it. First secret I ever kept from Terry was me joining council. But at that boot camp, I also got my first deal, which was spectacular. It ended up being a wholesale that all we did was have to paint it. And we ended up with $95,000 from that particular one. Incredible. It was a really long closing. So that helped with the way the market was kicking in.
That's amazing. Amazing. So so let me just kind of recap this. You come to the thing. I remember you're like, I'm not doing this, kind of, but you were open to it. What got you there? Why did you come to the meeting in the first place? What was the trigger? Because you came by yourself without your spouse.
Yeah, I had tried different MLMs. I was just constantly reaching out to try and find something to give me some sort of satisfaction. I honestly don't know. I've been reflecting back as to what was the trigger to make me come, because I have never done that. I mean, spending the amount that I spent even on the boot camp was completely out of the realm of anything I ever would have done before. So I don't know. Divine intervention, whatever it was, the planets aligning, the universe speaking to me, I have no idea. But there was something that made me come that day. I was sitting right beside Mark Smith. Sorry, I keep saying that. Alex Solga was in the same boot camp. I'm not actually sure if Alan was in the same one or not, but I don't know. It was definitely life-changing and something that I'm super glad happened.
Yeah, and I've watched you again invest in other people just as much as your own business, which you guys did. I think it was over 400 grand in the first year and a bit here together in your business, which I think is amazing, so amazing as investors. And you've invested in so many other lives in our community and sharing what you've learned and what you do, and you're also a mentor in our community, which is amazing to have you here. Can you take me to a moment? I know you talked about that check, that big flip that you did, that $90,000+ check that you ended up getting sometime later. Can you walk me to that moment and talk to me about your husband, Terry, and you with that check? Would you mind telling that story?
Sure. So Terry, he just figured that I was doing something else. Oh yeah, here's another one of Allison's crazy schemes. And again, COVID had happened. So he was sitting at home. Literally, he was miserable, depressed. He was a mechanic, absolutely out of his mind with depression, felt that he had to be a provider, and so didn't want to quit work. Well, didn't feel he could quit work. But again, thankfully, COVID happened for us anyway. And he laid on the couch for 5 weeks, scrolling on his phone. Eventually started his little contracting business, did a couple of pieces, a couple of jobs that he did there. In the meantime, this property was appreciating. And then it's like, okay, let's go. The people have moved out. Let's go and paint it and get it on the market. So did that. It closed. He drove to London to pick up the check because I said, I wanted a check. Please don't just put it in the bank account. This is our first big deal. Please give us a check. So he drove to London, picked it up. And then he came home, opened the envelope. And I'm not kidding. He sat there at the table like this. And he would just kept shaking his head and staring at it. And me being me, I'm just like, yeah, next deal, move on. And that's just kind of what it, but he's staring at it. And after a while I said, what is your problem? What are you doing? It's a check. And he goes, you don't realize what this means. He says, $95,000 is 1.5 years of work for me. And all I did was paint over a weekend. He said, it's completely mind changing to be able to realize that there are different ways to make a living and different choices that we can have in life. And that was pivotal for him. Absolutely pivotal.
What a beautiful story. And I'd like to point out that whether it's $95,000 or $9,500 or $90, I think the amount is amazing, and that's fine. I don't want to diminish the amount here because it's an incredible amount of money to make on a quick flip. It's the point that he simply didn't trade time for money. He found an opportunity and capitalized on the opportunity, and he was rewarded. And sometimes you hit home runs, and sometimes you hit base hits. Many of my deals were $20,000, $25,000 deals that we worked very, very hard for. And then we've had others that are $150,000 profit that we really haven't done much for. The market will keep serving you opportunities, and your ability to put them together is what's going to determine how many home runs you hit. But I think that's just so profound that his mind went from, I've been an auto mechanic for so long, and I've been working by the hourly rate for so long, and you're getting close to your retirement and your pension, and then there's a matter where it just goes, this is no longer relevant. I remember you and I last year, we actually, I was traveling for the whole year, for half the year in Florida and Texas. And you and Terry came down for 5 weeks, and we hung out over there in Florida, and we had this cool inside thing was called late night fare. And it'd be like 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, hey, just finished the workout. You want to go grab some late night fare? And we did that for a few weeks. And I think that was cool. It was awesome to have you guys travel and live life and truly enjoy yourself. Could you give a piece of advice? We have a couple minutes left here. Piece of advice for people who are really considering this at the stage of life, or maybe they are approaching a retirement, or maybe they've been slugging away in a job for 20 years or 25 years. Maybe you can share your thoughts on, is it too late for them? Should they make a move? What questions should they ask? Just go ahead and share some of your thoughts or pieces of advice you would give people.
Sure. I think what I would question is just reflecting back on yourself and are you happy? Do you feel that you're making a difference? Today's 9/11, right? So those particular firefighters and people who woke up and went to work and then didn't come home again, you don't know when your time is coming. And so if you could just reflect today, have I given everything that I want in life? And if not, then maybe it is time for a change. I know for myself that me joining council has essentially inspired me to become empowered and to be able to create my future and create my life. And that's really not something that you can teach in school. It's just something you need to experience, and something that you have to have a tribe literally behind you and supporting you. And the partners that I have, and Keith, my partner, is coming on a little bit later on, and so you can hear his story. But even networking last night when we were all together, there's more partnerships coming, and it's just having that support and those people who are outside of the box. When you're an employee, you're in this little box and you just kind of figure you got to wake up, go to work, come home, get dinner, go to bed. And it's that same thing over and over and over again. I was just thinking the other day, it was actually the second day of school. I actually forgot that it was time for school, which is even funnier as a teacher. But I woke up and it was 5:15 and I'm going, I've got CrossFit I'm going to go for my 6 o'clock class. And then I went, you know what? I have a choice. I don't have to get out of bed now. There's no one telling me I have to go anywhere, but I'm choosing. And that choice is priceless and invaluable.
And it's totally your choice. It really is at the end of the day. And you find things of value and a passion to you. And I love the fact that you called it a box, because it is. It's a box, whether you created the confinement or other people created it and you jumped in it and you just got stuck in there. I see a beautiful comment here from Lori who says, I've always wanted to do the same thing and family discouraged me. Now I'm a big girl and I'll do it for myself. Lori, I think that's amazing. I'm happy you shared that comment. And Allison's story is really one of impact. I think truthfully, when you look at your journey, Allison, then you realize what this whole movement is about, why we created this mastermind, and why the movement of CashFlow Tribe is so significant for Canadians, because it's relevant to people who seemingly ordinary, let's say, lives or careers, and they're moving through the motions, but they allow people to go, you can have an extraordinary life based on the things that matter to you without having to compromise. You don't have to compromise who you are, compromise what you want to do all day. You have to compromise 8 hours of your time to give to somebody or something that maybe you're not passionate about, or maybe doesn't align with what you truly want in life. So really thankful for you in that regard, where you really are a motivation to people. Like, the mentorship isn't about me, and you and I have talked about this before. What I've done, but really the value of having a mentor is to be able to take that course of action for yourself. This is why we put you guys on the stage, because people need to know who you are, the things you've accomplished financially, which are incredible, but there's so many other elements other than just the financial. Like, I know that, you've done some intensive workout stuff and you've lost an awesome amount of weight and you look amazing. And same with Terry's lost a lot of weight as well. And he looks great these days. And it's so refreshing to meet people where you go, everybody has friends and family and stuff like that around them. But when you find people in a mastermind group, they become allies. Can you maybe share something of value tangibly for people in relation to working with partners, having allies, sharing, resources, whether it's doing deals together, whether it's finding deals, raising money? What's the power of having an ally and having a group of aligned people versus just a network of people who throw business cards at each other?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for one thing, when I was doing the wholesaling, I was doing it individually. And Keith, who's kind of be coming on a little bit, he also was doing some wholesaling. We're both in the same city. And not that this is the reason to partner. However, the two of us kind of went, why are we competing? Why don't we combine forces and join together? Which we did, which then ended up later on having us form a business together and working on our strengths. So both of us have had personality tests taken, and we're able to support each other. Where one of us is weak, the other one is strong. So that's one example. Another one was when I had a deal that came up in a different city. So rather than me trucking to this other city to talk to sellers, I just picked up the phone and spoke to someone else who was in council and partnered on the deal. So that was a $5,000 check that got deposited into my account. And all I did was talk to the seller twice. And then my partner in that deal also took the rest of it. And I mean, that to me was a big light bulb again, that it's okay to share the wealth. Go ahead.
So could you elaborate a little bit on that? Like the idea of sharing the wealth. We talk a lot about having 100% of a little thing or a quarter of a bigger thing. Could you talk about maybe some of the mindset thinking on that, or maybe some advice you would give somebody who's probably stuck in, I have one deal, but it's my deal and I'm Schmiegel and it's my precious, versus like, you know, I partner with people, we do deals, we trust each other. Talk about maybe some of that difference.
Sure. And that is honestly something that I've struggled with. I've been very competitive throughout my life. I've ridden horses, and it's all about, you know, everyone else is your enemy, and you need to win. And that's the way I was raised. Is Dad always used to say to me, think blue, but red would do. You got to be first. So with some of the deals that are coming across, yeah, sure, I could share, but why would I want to? I can do it myself. So yes, that we're working actually on our 7th flip in 15 months. Had I partnered with people, I could have done a lot more, a lot faster. So I'm now getting to that point. It's taken me a while, but I'm now getting to that point that I am able to see the benefit of sharing in flipping in particular, but also in terms of partnering, even something as simple as financing. You know, rather than just going to the bank and getting a mortgage, why not partner with someone and have them make money on their investment in you and and their trust in you, really, that you're going to do the job properly. One of our first flips, we had a partner come in, we split 50-50 on that. It was great. We ended up, both making a fair amount of money because it was a pretty good flip. I mean, you and I have partnered on things where you've made money, we've made money. It's just, there's far more, as Robert Munch says, let's just share. We share everything, right?
Yeah, and I think it almost creates a little bit of a real estate gumbo, right? Where somebody brings a little piece and another little piece, and and there's a way to do that intelligently. There's a way to structure deals where everything is done right. Obviously, living in Canada, there's a lot of process and due diligence that happens through your attorney. So everything is on the up and up, and everything's crossed and double checked. So, but I just think a lot of people are playing so small, or they just don't know the power of working with aligned people. So my last kind of thought or question for you is like, who's the right person to align with? Is it just anybody, or is there a specific quality, maybe one or two, that you would share for people thinking about aligning with somebody to partner with?
Definitely, I would not partner with the first person that you meet. You don't want to partner with anyone who's breathing because you don't know what's going to happen, right? You don't know if they have the same goals as you do. So you really do need to be able to meet with people and experience their goals and your goals and make sure you're on the right track. Being in a small room, like, when you're in a small room, you know that people are not going to go out and screw you, for lack of a better term, because they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot if they do that as well. So creating partnerships, again, where you've got strengths and weaknesses, right? One will offset the other. Yeah, on that sense, for sure, I would definitely get into a network and a room where you can ask other people. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say on that. Is, make sure that when you're partnering with people, that you're partnering with the right people for the right reasons. I did want to mention one thing, just going back a little bit when we were talking, and mindset and what have you. When I first came into counsel, I literally wanted to be given a binder of do this, do this, do this, and you'll be successful. I could have been given that binder, and I probably would be back teaching again this year. I had to hit and fix what was in here. And I used to get really annoyed with you, to be quite honest, because I'd ask you a question and you'd say, I don't know, what do you want? And I'm like, I don't know what I freaking want. I want to be able to be happy. So it was, when you do start into any sort of a mentorship program, having the tactical, you must do this, is perhaps not what you need in the beginning. So you kind of need to work on two things at the same time.
Again, we said it earlier, I believe it's a holistic approach to life. Like, mentorship is more than just do this. I give you the answer. Most people just won't do it. There's a big secret everybody should know in this world. The reason why YouTube is free and the reason why all the information is free, the truth is, and I've heard this from many coaches, is that I teach everybody everything. Most people just won't do it. So it doesn't matter. I teach you every detail. You need to take that, folks, put it in your mind and go, how many things do you know that you've never actually done? I know how to cook stew. Did you make a stew? Nope. Watch the YouTube video. I know how to buy a duplex. How many did you buy? Barely one. Friends, it's not about information. I'm telling you, it's about activation. Activate yourself. Get your mind right. Start taking action. Work with confidence. Work with people that will support you and have resources and have gone down the path that you want to go. Don't ever hire a mentor that hasn't done exactly what you want to do, because the path may lead you to a fork that they haven't figured out, which means you're going to go down the same path to the same fork, only to come back and start all over again. Allison, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us and just your beautiful heart. We appreciate you so much in this community. You've been a pillar here of grace, and we just thank you for bringing the teaching element and helping us really keep growing. And, we wish you tremendous success. Where can people connect with you the best, Allison? How can they connect?
Facebook or Instagram. It's Allison Pazuk, as it says down there in the bottom left corner. Anyone can reach out to me if you have any questions. I know, Lori, you're just talking and sending messages. If you want to connect and find out what it's like, please just send me a message, and I'd love to chat with you and we can deep dive it further. It's happiness, really and truly, it's happiness. So
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Allison. Folks, we're going to be right back in a few minutes. I'm going to encourage you go to look at the link at the bottom of the screen there. Go ahead and click that link and book a conversation with our team. Sarah's excited to chat with you and just have a dialogue, which she does with everybody who's considering mentorship. We've got several programs available that'll help you. And there's an absolutely free discussion with Sarah that you can have. And what we're doing is today we're going to give out a nice, crisp $1,000. It is right here. There's even some 50s in here. $1,000 Canadian. We're going to be giving out right now. It's a 1 in 10 chance of winning $1,000 for simply booking a conversation. It might be the highest paid conversation you've ever had. So I encourage you, go ahead and click the link scrolling across the screen. We'll be back in a few minutes to pick up the conversation with a few more amazing council champions on today's day. We'll see you guys shortly. Stay tuned. All right, and we are back. All right, so folks, we're here live from downtown Kitchener, actually today, Kitchener, Ontario, talking about the Council Mastermind, talking about some of our amazing council champions. And I'm really excited to get the conversation going with one of our next champions coming to the call here, Alex. But before I do, I had a mentor once tell me this. He said, you simply don't know what you don't know. You simply don't know what you don't know. And it's sometimes we're lost, we're stuck, we're confused about where to move next, what to do next. And what I would really encourage you before I bring Alex on is to consider booking a discovery call here with our team. It's a no pressure conversation. Just want to get to know you better and some of your goals. So if you've been thinking about getting into the real estate and you're brand new, jump on a call. If you've been thinking about you've got an active business, but you're just not getting deals in the hot market, or you're not growing fast enough in a hot market, go ahead and click this QR code right now, snap a picture, book a quick call. We want to help you guys understand your options, truthfully. That's what's going to help you decide when the time is right, whether it's now or in the future, to get mentorship help. It's going to help you navigate through that conversation. We have some folks that join our general community at CashFlow Tribe, and frankly, you know, they participate for a year before they get mentorship. So I think it's important to understand your goal. What is mentorship? Let me give you just a clear definition from our end, what it actually is. Number one, I believe it's important to increase your level of awareness. Mentorship is about helping you see the opportunity. And the way we do that is helping you create a strategy specific to your precise goals. It has to be a specific plan. We have to have the strategy that aligns with that plan so that you can identify opportunities within that strategy. This is not guesswork. This is factual, tactical work. The other thing is accountability. You know, most people, they don't actually need more information. They need one-on-one help. You don't need to learn how to lose weight. You need a fitness trainer. So we have one-on-one help available. We have group accountability available. We also have 60 plus people right now, just over 60 people in our mentorship community. And these are people who have committed to themselves and to the community long-term to grow, share resources, and invest together. So if you really think you need a family of support, if you need more resources, whether it's cash, whether it's deals, and you know you want to level up your community and your network, I encourage you. Go ahead and snap a picture of the QR code right there in front of you, or click the link in the comment section real quick and book a discovery call, no obligation discovery call with us. And today, because we're in a giving mood and we live in abundance, we're also going to award one person who books a discovery call with $1,000 cash at the end of our conversation here in a couple of hours. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and click the link. You have nothing to lose. Scan the QR code if you want and book your free discovery call with our team. And Sarah will jump on a call. She'll get to know you better so we can understand if there's opportunities to help you, where those are, and hopefully bring some clarity to your life. All right, back to our regular scheduled program. I have a good friend coming on here, one of our mentorship folks, Alex Mustachia, who has been in our mentorship here for quite some time, for the last year. And I'm really proud of Alex. He's a high detail oriented. In fact, we're both Romanian by origin, and we share that in common as well. But him being high detail and highly tactical, it's like a man after my own heart. I love people that are really focused and are looking for the details in life, looking for excellence in life. And Alex is one of those detailed thinkers. The way he works, he's a successful flipper now in the Hamilton region, and he's got multiple deals on the go. And you know, I've seen him evolve over time. So I'm going to bring Alex on, and I'd love to share his story. So Alex, welcome to the stream, brother.
Thank you, Ben. Pleasure to be here, and thank you, everyone watching. I love seeing the comments. Keep them coming.
Bro, I've seen you in that chair for the last year on Zoom calls, and you know, it's been amazing watching you grow. Though, although the paint color is the same, seems like your eyes have a different glisten to them a year later.
Yeah, you could put it that way. This is my man-made home office. Yes.
Alex, what I'd love to do, and I've been doing all day, is getting a sense from some of our champions, which you absolutely are, getting a sense of where you were with your business, with your mindset prior to joining mentorship and prior to joining counsel. What was your life like in real estate, and how did that all kind of slot in with you? Give us a little background.
Sure. So I guess I have an educational background, a mechanical engineering background, and I had spent the past 15 years in various roles, from design, project management to technical sales, trying to climb the corporate ladder in various organizations, both big and small. I was actually joking with my wife at one point in that I developed a PhD in getting jobs, but somehow it was never leading to what I wanted it to. There was many instances where I'd be given a considerable amount of responsibility, but not the autonomy to impact change. So it was a lot of that plus my mindset always wanting to do something on my own that led me to want to pursue some entrepreneurial endeavor. I had about 12 years ago, I did buy my first property as a long-term buy and hold. Sat on that, it kind of cash flowed, refied it without even knowing what a burst strategy is. I ended up pulling some equity out of it. It was about probably late 2019, actually, that I started getting involved a little bit more. I saw a little bit more potential in real estate. And I decided I learned about the idea of doing a duplex conversion. I was always also, well, not maybe, highly detail oriented, but also hands-on on the tools, quite a bit of construction background as well. So I got into my first duplex conversion in Hamilton, and I ended up completing that by myself, meaning on the tools, for about 6 months straight, between January and June 2020. I was able to rent it out. It came to a completion. I was able to refi it, and it dawned on me that I started to see the light. That, this is an opportunity to go after real estate as more than just a hobby and make it into a business. But I realized that I could only do one of these a year because in the first couple of months I had maxed out my chiropractic benefits. Not to mention that I was completely an absentee father for the better part of 6 months. I did all of this while still being full-time employed. So I started to look around for alternatives. I came across CashFlow Tribe. I'd actually previously met Matt McKeever at the Right Club in Burlington. But I started looking into it a little bit more, attended a few seminars, and realized that, there's an opportunity to join a bunch of people that have done what I'm trying to go, that, they've made this into a successful business. And these are the people that know how to get there. They just kind of opened my eyes to the possibilities of making this into an actual business as opposed to a weekend warrior.
So you're touching on a lot of different stuff, Alex, and I'm thankful that, we're having this dialogue, your brother. We've talked about this many, many times. By the way, guys, people at home, there's a quick tip you can take away. There's a book out there I read years ago called The E-Myth, E-M-Y-T-H, The E-Myth Revisited, by Michael E. Gerber, and it talks about the technician versus the manager versus the entrepreneur. Alex, I would define you in the very essence as like a technician of the work. Like, you're good at it, you like doing it, there's a pride of ownership there. And, I guess I'm going to say a little bit of the false positive. And when we get started in flipping houses or anything like that, when we have an active job, we tend to be the technical doer of the work. And that has pros and cons. The pros is the positive, let's just say the sense of gratification because you've done the work. The con is you become the work. So your personal time is robbed, your personal energy is robbed, and you're basically trading time for money. It's basically another version of a job. And you had mentioned like you're absent from family for times, and you are so dedicated to the craft. It's like there has to be a big sacrifice here. Now, I've had the pleasure, dude, of watching you over the last year radically shift your mindset. I know you have 7-8 deals on the go today, 7-8 deals, consecutive flips right now when there used to be 1 or 2. Could you help some of our folks that are technicians like you, high detailed people, a little bit of a control freak, which some of us are to a degree? Help us understand, man, how does a guy go from the technical work to becoming more of a manager of the technical work? This is a little bit deep dive, and you're becoming the expert here, so I really would love for you to share your thoughts on that.
It is a maturing process. It was for me. It continues to be. I think I had the opportunity a few weekends ago to talk a little bit on procurement of materials and that kind of thing, and you realize in the grand scheme of things that saving a few $100s on toilets from Costco is a drop in the bucket once you appreciate how money moves and how you make your profits on the buy. So you start appreciating the long-term play. It helps to, in my case, I'm not smart enough to think of these things well in advance. I forced myself in the position to have to grow by taking on way more projects than I can swing a hammer at. By taking on projects that are outside of my, a half hour, 45-minute drive range, it forced me to partner with people. So, it takes a level of, maturing, and both in the real estate knowledge, but I think far more important is just your comfort of appreciating how money moves. It is still a constant struggle. I deal with contractors. More recently, we have employees. There is an element of relinquishing some of that control and some of that, I'm not going to say so much quality, because I don't want to sacrifice quality, but it comes at a slightly higher cost of implementation, and for the sake of moving faster and being able to be involved in far more than one deal at a time.
Yeah, so let's get a little granular, Alex, because this is a no bullshit call, right, guys? I believe in the power of being effective in your communication and in your work environment, because that's what allows us to have the life outside of the labor. Like, we're either going to build something that we can have a foundation and we can grow. You have to choose. You cannot have what you have and also have what you do not have. In order for you to have this, you have to physically leave here, which means there's a level of discomfort and there's a level of journeying to get there. For you to have 7 flips on the go right now as a manager versus having 1 flip as a technician, it requires you to deal with some of the bullshit. Straight up. Hey man, you can't be a control freak. You can't drive to every job every day. You can't dedicate the time. You simply do not have the capacity as a human being. And I know that it's more of a mental problem for most of us than it is a physical problem, because we're creating the physical constraint because of the mental constraint. Can you get us a little bit granular, a little bit tactical? Maybe you have some tips for people that are struggling with the technician mode. Maybe you have some mindset stuff for people. How does a guy go from 1 to 7? Can you give us maybe some key indicators?
So being able to take on multiple projects at the same time relies a little bit on having built a bit of a power team. It was a very interesting week for me last week. As you might know, Ben, I was on vacation. I was away for the entire week, but I was still taking phone calls. It was known that I was going to do that. And I've come across a problem that any other time I would have driven to site and dealt with it. It was a water line upgrade. They needed some additional access, but I was away. I was able to call the general contractor. This was never in their scope. This was a separate line item. But I would explain, hey man, I need some help with this. Not a problem. Showed up, it's done. This is a clear example, again, like it's maybe a little bit being forced in that position because otherwise I would have gone to site. Now I didn't have to. So the ability to build that power team does come with time. You can't expect to jump into real estate and have lined up general contractors or sub trades to always support you, but you build that with every project that you get involved with. So I think back to your initial question, somebody that is inclined in being on the tools, my first flip was all by myself. The second one, I started outsourcing a little bit more, doing a little bit less myself. So as you grow, the goal is to build relationships as opposed to just looking at the few $100s that I'm going to save by doing my own backsplash versus bringing. And I'm using that example because that to me was a high cost item by the time I would have done it myself, but I ended up paying it just to force myself to accept it as a reality that I'm going to be paying somebody for this.
What I really love what you're saying is my understanding of this is the forced. You have to force yourself into a constraint mentally, and then you're going to naturally react your way out of that problem. But if you don't force yourself into this other thing physically, hey man, I'm at the cottage. By the way, that's amazing. I'm at the cottage with my family for the whole week. I'm not there to come and fix the problem personally because I normally would. So you got to help me figure out a way to do this. And what you're doing is using Adam Smith's division of labor like it's meant to be used, and having somebody else physically do the work because you're graduated to the mental side. But I know that that is a forced activity that you need to do, and you got to put yourself in that constraint. So what I respect about you, Alex, a lot is like in the last year, I see you putting yourself in constraint. And I know what this is like, man, because the most houses I flipped was 65 in 1 year. I flipped 65 houses. And I understand what it takes to flip 65 deals. It's a level of constraint, calculation. It's a level of organization that you need to have in order to achieve that success. Otherwise, you're stuck in the one-trick pony. Something I'd love for you to touch on, man. I remember the day that you were live and you were home with your son, and you posted a picture live like, here's me and my son, we're playing in the front yard, we're playing with the hose and stuff like that, when normally you would have been grinding away on a job site on a Saturday. Can you share what that evolution was like to you and maybe some of the thinking around your mindset there?
I'm doing a little bit of marketing. I'm trying to do put together some marketing material. So I was looking back to the pictures of my duplex conversion that I did as far back as January 2020. I came across this picture. It must have been sometime in May because the weather was getting better. My wife had come by with my son to visit me. And there's this picture of him and I sitting on a bench. And I was working and I was covered in dust, whatever, like safety boots and everything. But I looked at that picture and I looked broken. Like I just looked physically broken. And that was just an opportunity for me to see him in daylight, because normally I'd get home too late for him to still be up and, see me. And obviously I was happy to see him, but such a contrast from that picture to nowadays where, yes, there's still a lot of stress. Yes, I'm traveling, but to be honest, I'm home at about 6 o'clock any given day. Am I hopping back on calls around 8:30? Yes, once he's down, but I am controlling that situation a lot more. My wife, my biggest supporter, appreciates the effort, appreciates maybe the weekends being away, but again, it is controlled. It's for a greater purpose. There is a considerable, like a drastic difference between, my mental state back then to what it is now. So that was a beautiful, just I guess a few weeks ago, being able to just basically take the afternoon off and be with him, knowing that I will find a way to deal with that project the following day.
Can you give a sense, dude, of two things? I'd like to get a sense of your business today, give you some tangible numbers maybe of what you're doing, how many deals, volume, profit, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So we can understand, from that perspective, how large, what does this mean? Like, is it 7 deals, you make $1 on each deal? Is it $10,000 a deal? Give us a sense of the business side.
Understood. So I currently have 7 projects on the go, ranging from million plus entry point. And obviously, we're projecting at least a $300,000 return on that one project. Now, this has been a longer flip, I should say. March, and it's about to go on the market within the next few weeks. Down to $88,000 entry points as far as flips. I currently have a duplex conversion, and if anything, that is really of interest to me. Duplex conversions with the potential for a third garden suite. So this will be a buy and hold. This is in Hamilton, so it'll be three rental units in that one property. We have a fourplex on the go in Chatham, a couple of other projects in Chatham as far as flips. The entry point varies on any given area. Projected profit line, on average, I'd like to say that, the expected $50,000 per flip. And then there's some that are whales of projects that obviously are going to return quite a bit better numbers.
Okay, so Alex, that's awesome, man. Here's what I'd like you to help me understand. I get it, but capitalizing these deals, where do you get money for 7 flips? What's the nature of joint venture relationships, money partners versus maybe how you did before? Could you give us a sense of finding the money to do all these deals? Are you borrowing from, credit cards? Are you taking it off line of credits? Are you, how are you doing all this, financing all these deals at the same time?
So I think it's important to start off on the first part is my, let's say, personal decision to quit my job, which was about 5 or so months after joining council, December, January range. That was also on the premise that I had owned that, I think I had mentioned that I owned a long-term buy and hold, and I seeing the opportunity to get involved full-time in real estate, I made the decision to sell that and be able to capitalize on all that built-in equity over the past 10 years, which has allowed me to then move forward and know that I'm good on the personal side for at least a year. But once I did that, I did that knowing fully well that no bank would ever touch me by myself. And again, it was an opportunity to to force myself into finding partners, finding creative ways. One of my money partners happens to be, a relative, somebody in my family. It's my sister, which is fantastic. So that's probably the easy part. But as far as future partnerships, it's always been either, actually for the most part, I'm going to say not one of these deals that I currently have is on my own anymore. Every one of them is in some form of partnership. And for the most part, it's with hard money and with partners that I'm going to say that have shown to have committed to the same type of personal growth as I have. That to me is very important. First, I should say integrity. That's something that, we'll date, we'll meet and make sure that we're lined up in that sense. But it is also very important to align from that personal growth and even longer term with the idea of a long-term relation, as opposed to let's make a quick buck on this project and then we'll never speak again.
Okay, so
sorry, go ahead.
So let me touch on that real quick, because and the audience should know, I've raised $35 million off-market private financing from individuals for all my real estate deals. You said two things: quit the job, and I'm paying hard money. Walk us through the mindset shift and willingness to pay hard money, like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever percent, especially for somebody who maybe has been a big saver or really data-driven. How hard was that shift, and how do you justify spending so much or giving so much away to a partner?
It was, I stopped looking at the cost of funds as a loss and instead as an investment and an opportunity to continue doing deals. So once you've matured in your ability to acquire deals, which came with mentorship, which came with being at the table with other people that I've learned from, the art of negotiating, the art of selling yourself and being able to obtain that better deal. And if it's a deal that can return you $70,000 with A lenders, I'm okay with 40 with hard money, just, you know what I mean? To be able to do more deals that way. But also the value that hard money brings to the table. An A lender, like part of the appeal of being able to obtain a better deal is to move quick. Well, an A lender is not going to do that. So there is an additional value. There's a reason why hard money costs so much, because they can act quickly too. So developing those relationships that now turn into relational capital was very important. I've appreciated the importance of that and then started moving more in that direction.
It sounds like you have an appreciation for borrowing hard money, partnering with people, the longevity of relationships, the speed and access to capital. Like, that's a whole narrative about business building that most people don't attribute to real estate investing. While we have a couple minutes, I'd like to ask you, what advice would you give somebody who maybe they've done a couple flips in the past, they really want to amp up their business to your level? Is there a key piece of advice or information that you could share with them that may help them get there sooner?
Well, I mean, my message is going to resonate quite a bit with the other speakers that I had the pleasure of hearing and interacting with for the past year. And that, yes, get yourself in a smaller room. Put yourself in a room with people that want to do what you're trying to achieve. But, the biggest, what I've noticed talking to new investors is the biggest mindset shift there is the appreciation of obtaining mentorship. So, I might even argue, and like with you here, Ben, as that counsel is one way to move really fast in this process. I think mentorship, just appreciating the idea of partnering with somebody that's done, even if it's not mentorship right off the bat, but the idea of partnering with somebody that's done what you're trying to achieve at the cost of equity. It's something that a lot of people struggle. And I say that because I used to struggle with that quite a bit myself.
Yeah. So the value of being like, the only thing you should ever spend money on, in my opinion, is if there's an ROI. So if you get a mentor and you pay that mentor $10,000, you should even ask the immediate question, can I make 20? Can I make 100% return on my money? If I partner with an investor and I pay them 10%, can I get this money again for the next deal if everything works out on this deal? And that's the way you can start framing this as a business. The other thing is relational. Alex, if I invest 10 hours in you, what's the long-term benefit to both of us having a strong, trustworthy relationship where we can float each other business deals and opportunities? So Alex, dude, I'm so thankful for you and your life and, you know, your growth as a leader and a mentor within our community. And I celebrate you today on Champions Day. Alex, I know you got a lot of stuff on the go. Where should people reach out to you to get a part of what you have going on today?
Facebook and Instagram, alexandru.mustachia. I'm on Instagram, or just my name as you see it on the screen there. Or for Facebook is probably the best way to get in touch.
All right, I love that. And you're in the Hamilton region. Folks, reach out to Alex, get a hold of him. He's always glad to share, and maybe you do a deal with him, invest in capital. He's got a lot of stuff on the go. Alex, thank you, brother. Appreciate. I know we talk like this all the time, but it's so nice to be able to share this with the audience today and give them a chance behind the curtain of what these conversations look like on a regular basis. So, Alex, thank you so much. Folks, we're going to keep this party rolling here, and we're going to take a short break here for just a couple moments, and we will be right back with Keith Maxey, somebody who used to be a small business owner in the video game space, and he's going to share about some of his learning, some of his journey with us over the course of the last year. You don't want to miss out on this one, so we'll see you guys in just a couple moments.
Hey guys, my name is TJ.
I'm Callie Braithwaite.
My name's Alex Mustachia.
Hello, my name is Catherine O'Neill.
My name is Alex Solga.
I had to go out west, 2 to 3 months at a time and leave my family here.
Real estate was always the end game to get me out of the 9-to-5 rat race.
I've always had an interest in entrepreneurship.
An old boss of mine mentioned her 5 real estate investment properties.
From 2012 to 2017, I had an absolute horrible experience. I was the hardest working guy I knew, and I was the brokest guy I knew.
And that's when I started flipping and failing and stuff, and then I just get frustrated because the time, it wasn't fast enough.
Discovered I was going in totally the wrong direction.
I made a promise to myself that I was going to be home with my family and watch them grow.
I knew there had to be a better way, and that's one of the big reasons why I joined council.
Thought to myself, I've got to join this group. Joined council, and I've been delighted ever since.
I learned about positive self-talk, mindset shift, how to actually build a business.
Like I've got 12 flips as of this year, 7 flips currently as I'm standing here. A business that's operating completely on its own. I have a lending company.
I was able to get into my first flip, and we were able to turn a $50,000 profit.
I'm learning things that I never knew before. Strategies were refined. I was able to build up confidence.
I believe that we can all win together. That's my preferred way of being.
It's awesome helping people, because as much as I want to build my real estate portfolio, I love